New year, new campaign, new players. Unlike the last campaigns, if you were following, we were in the wonderful world of Tal'dorei created by Matt Mercer. This campaign is actually done in one of my worlds. If you've watched some of our previous campaigns, ones that we have archived, Curse of the Jade Flame, Dragon Chronicles, we are back in the world of Colona. So, what I would know everybody's waiting for is why? Well, we were running two groups. They wanted to play together but couldn't due to the previous campaign setup. So, this campaign we're doing something rather ambitious. Two different player groups competing in one another. Their destinies intertwined in the same campaign setting. The players will be able to jump back and forth between the Saturday and Sunday games at their leisure. It's a very modular campaign setup, one that I haven't really tried before, and I'm very excited to see how it works. Welcome to Tour. It has been nearly 2 decades since the last war. This continent is divided by treacherous terrain and political powers. The Dragon Coast, a collection of city-states united under the banner of the Turian Republic, supported by the Consensus Concord, a group of powerful merchant families who monopolize the southeastern shores and ports of Tur, thriving on open trade and freedom. Beyond the Devil's Backbone Mountains lies the massive region known as the Wild Frontier, bisected by the Ashen Peaks. The Eastern Frontier houses the expansive wastes and turbulent badlands of Scytha, overrun with all manner of beasts and terrors, relics from the last stand that ruined that vast landscape. The Western Frontier filled with the lush forest of Odwin and its many rural communities of outcasts. Northward, you will find the Alabaster Plateau, a lawless land of brutal ice and snow. Towering over the plateau is the Morning Mountain, once home to the mighty dwarven kingdom of Tor Thorum, now harboring a curse that has kept it unconquered by living hands. However, this story, your story, begins in the southern kingdom of Hallan. In its grand capital of Aurora, the capital founded many generations ago. It was built under the Golden Rapture, a stationary constellation of stars, creating a spiderweb-like fracture in the night skies of golden light. Since its founding, the kingdom has slowly spread to encompass the surrounding societies of the southern region, absorbing the many peoples until eventually reaching the borders of her neighboring kingdoms of Odwin, Scytha, and Lani. Between these 5 kingdoms, they laid claim to the known lands of Tur, forming the Turian Empire. Aurora was once ruled by King Renaud the Divine. Since his family's death during the Last Stand, is now ruled by the Turian Republic. The other kingdoms of Tur do not recognize the authority of the Republic, but they do respect the power of the merchant families that currently back this new government. The other kingdoms leave Hallan to its own devices, for now. Life in Hallan is fair. Most people live their lives as they did before the Last Stand. The merchant families only taking a small cut of what people of the kingdom produce and earn. People follow the same laws, free to worship their own gods, and bow to the judgment of the Republic's leadership and guidance. In return, The denizens of Holland are protected from the chaotic horrors and shadowed evils that stalk the outskirts of civilized lands. The Consensus Concord has led Holland and its citizens to a very prosperous life since the last stand, especially its political elite, and most of all, for the merchant houses, drawing envy from its neighboring kingdoms. Tensions brew beneath the chafing watch of the golden blades of Allura. Every temple of Allura, the goddess of luck and fortune, is government-owned and run. Many rumors of the neighboring kingdom's military patrols near the borders have many on edge. Our story, your story, begins much smaller. Here in the southern district of Aurora, past the docks and beyond the nearby city gates, is the district known as the Sacred Promenade. At its heart, overlooking the blue waters of the Hydra canals, is a magical tree that dwarfs the tallest spire in the city, known to all as the Nymph's Rest. The tree seemed to have sprouted out of nowhere after the First Nemesis War. The nourishing, life-sustaining fruit it bears is free for any and all to take all year round. The interior of the tree holds more mystery and secrets, though. The tree itself houses many floors, each with very specific purposes. Common rooms, kitchens, training centers, theaters, libraries, just to name a few. No one knows why it is called a Nymph's Rest, but some rumors say hidden somewhere within the mighty tree is a majestic grotto of untold beauty that has remained untainted from the civilization that surrounds it. No one faction has ever been able to lay claim to the tree, and those that have tried to take it by force have all failed. The closest thing to an owner the Nymph's Rest has is a young woman simply named Marie. Her light blonde, perfectly groomed hair falls just above her shoulders. Her radiant face and bright blue eyes match her traditional dress, which flows from top to bottom and has a court neckline which daintily reveals her modest dress worn below it. As gentle as her features appear to be, she carries a brutish gold and platinum warhammer that hangs from the leather belt around her waist. The very few times anyone has ever seen this woman, they have said she is warm, inviting, friendly, and has not aged a day since the tree's first appearance in Aurora. Now, it is time for a handful of wandering destinies to begin to interact. We begin in the early hours of the morning on the second floor of the Commons inside of the Nymph's Rest. All of you have had your reasons for coming here, your personal reasons why you've sought here. But whatever the reason, you all seek acceptance into the adventuring company known as the Fearless Landers. They don't quite take everyone that approaches them. Many have to prove that they can not only brave going out into the unknown, but survive the harsh wilderness outside. Many people are content with taking the occasional odd jobs and, simple pay, but nothing compares to the money, the prestige, the resources that a guild like the Fearless Landers could give somebody. The opportunities are endless. It is your second day here at the Nymph's Rest. Most of the people have already cleared out of the commons here. Most of the other petitioners have already been given tasks. You are still awaiting a task to be assigned to each of you. Not everyone is given a task. Not everybody is seen worthy. You all sit at one of these smaller tables. This is where I'd like you all to just kind of discuss, describe your characters, and let's go from there.
Mordecai is a Scourge Azamar. He has dark blue skin, bright white hair, and he wears black military robes with a gold trim. On one shoulder is the crest of the Platinum Sun in that same gold shining trim. He wears some wire-rimmed spectacles, and he's about 5.5 feet tall, but he carries a very tall, ornate staff, taller than even he is, and he stands with a rigid posture, eyeing everyone around him with an appraising gaze.
Aries just this happy, bubbly human, bright red hair, carrying more weapons than anybody really needs. She's got a pair of hand axes tied to her waist, a great sword on her back, a great axe on her back, a short sword on the table that she's trying desperately to sell to you all for the low, low price of 20 gold. She just kind of jingles as she moves, happily bobbing her head to a beat that only she can.
Ryan is an 8'1" Goliath, towers over everyone, just sort of sitting there awkwardly, uncomfortable and out of place, clad in his blue and white scale mail with his amulet of his god Gimdol Wonderbringer around his neck. And he's just sitting there awkwardly, trying not to be noticed, and failing, because he's 8 tall.
Aetherius is sitting down at the table with a stoic look on his face, somewhat looking emotionless. He's wearing this small red jacket-like thing over his or the little sheets and such of armor that he's wearing. And he has a hood that's over his head, trying to somewhat obscure his face, with a staff that's leaning against the table at his side.
So, as Ari mentioned, she's trying to sell her short sword. Ari, what kind of pitch do you make to the rest of them about trying to sell this wonderful piece of killing hardware?
I mean, looking out there, their weapons just aren't that effective. I mean, that's a stick. And while I can beat people with the stick, it's not effective. But see, here at the Stardew Mercantilism Company, we have the best weapon, the sharpest edges, the bluntiest bluntiness.
I do not need a stick to beat you.
Exactly, you don't need sticks. Buy the sword. It's on sale today.
He just glares at you, perking an eyebrow.
She seems completely unfazed.
Now, one thing of interest that you noticed, Ari, when you first were trying to pull out your short sword, is that as long as you didn't have any kind of hostile intent, you were able to pull out to unsheath the short sword. The moment that you had any other thought or feeling, you were almost immediately overwhelmed by this feeling of pacifism, where you couldn't even put fingers upon the hilt of your blade.
See, normally I'd do part of the sales pitch where I'd take this and then I'd show you how sharp it is by throwing it into that mantle over. But I'm tired. Or distracted. Or it's Tuesday. I'm not... Is it Tuesday? I think there's rules I can't throw swords on Tuesday.
I don't... appreciate that.
What is that Wednesday? To Wednesday.
That's a day.
Do I know what the effect is on the room?
You can make a knowledge arcana.
Sure. 12.
You're not quite sure of everything that goes into it, though the best that you can figure out is that there is some unnatural effects that are forcing a pacifist effect on everybody that are inside the trees, either protection or land. You're not sure what the boundaries of this effect is, but it's quite impressive, and it does ensure for a safe zone for meetings. Basically, a nice, safe habitat.
Mordecai sniff. This is not the day of the week. It is magic, powerful. In case we may turn hostile. Is that your fear from us?
Wednesday.
I'm pretty sure it's just a natural effect of the tree.
It's a magical tree. I heard this tree has a inn next to it.
The inn is inside the tree.
I guess that makes sense. It's inside the tree.
And on that very
Face palm.
I had to set that one up.
yeah, on the punchline of that joke, this young barmaid, barista, if you would, comes by your table, puts down a few pints of crisp, clear water. So, can I get y'all anything to eat or drink?
Pass.
Yes.
Sure.
Ah, okay. And what would y'all like? We have special on the pork buns. Do have a bit of spice sausage soup. We have some biscuits that are getting ready to come out of the oven. But if you're more of the porking variety, we can get you some bacon or some other, depending on what you'd like. Maybe some hard cheeses. Breakfast ale.
I'd like to pig out on bacon.
Okay. And what about
Pig
you?
in.
I would like to have some biscuits.
All right. And nothing for you, big fella.
No thanks. I ate.
All right. Well, I'll be right back with your meals. Hope you're having a fine stay at the Nymph's Rest. And she just kind of smiles, flicks her hair back, and just struts on over back towards the bar into what you assume is probably a small kitchen area. There are a few straggler residents that are just kind of sitting down, most of them just minding their own business. A couple of them look like they know each other and just kind of having breakfast, talking with one another. There is another gentleman at the bar who is just kind of keeping to himself. Looks like he is maybe a messenger or maybe some kind of a frequent traveler. Doesn't look like he packs heavy, but doesn't look like he stays in a place too long considering the state of his clothing. Some of it's just kind of patched at work, stitched up. Boots have definitely seen their fair share of travels.
Why are all of you here? I haven't seen a paycheck in 2 moons.
Well, I'm here because I'm here. She just stares blankly, not understanding the question.
Civilians.
No, I'm Mary.
Of course you are.
I'm just here because Destiny so says.
I like Destiny. She's really nice.
I think that's
Fair enough.
I suppose we should introduce ourselves. I am Sergeant Mordecai of the Holland Army.
Hi, I'm Mary.
You've said as much.
Name's Aetherius.
I'm Ryan. It's just Ryan.
Nice to meet you, Just Ryan.
Not, okay.
Just Ryan, okay? You have a complicated name.
Yeah.
I glance over to Ryan. I don't suppose we can get a replacement for this one. And he juts a thumb in Aries' direction.
I don't think that's how that works.
I'm not just this one. I mean, I'm also Erica Tolson, but you call me not just this one. And I'm here to get the biggest, shiniest, most legendary item possible.
Oh, you
Two
have
of it. Maybe
you have
three.
interest in magical items. So do I.
Or a giant cannon. If I could get a giant cannon, I could probably beat at least 2 of my siblings. 3 if I could throw it hard enough.
Why not just shoot it?
But then I'd have to get a cannon to shoot the cannon. It's just easier to throw it.
Alright then.
I was going to show you how well I throw things, but it's Wednesday.
Again, I'm pretty sure that's not a real day.
Today is gonna be a long day.
Wednesday always is.
So, as you say that, the sound of a plate landing on the table, followed by another and another, the aroma of freshly cooked biscuits, a large heaping of crisp bacon quickly fills the air. As your food is placed before you, the same barista has come back, just kind of smiling. Are you sure I can't get you anything? Kind of looking over towards Mordecai.
As I've said to my friends, It has
We're
been-
friends.
it has been 2 moons since I've seen a paycheck. I will simply receive some fruit from the tree at a later time.
Here, I'll pay for their food.
All right. Well, if you would like something, Aria's going to pick up the tab, or you can continue to eat the free fruit. Your accommodations here, the main commons, is free for everybody. Unlike other inns and traveler stops along the main roadways, the common rooms here are actually quite impeccably clean and sanitary. So this place is meant to help rehabilitate people who are down their luck, poor, destitute, remake themselves in society. Of course, for those with coin, other services are available, but this place seems to have the best interest of the common man at heart. Well, just let me know if you want anything. Just whistle and old Deirdre will come and take care of you.
If this one is paying for our breakfast, then a bowl of oatmeal, cinnamon, raisins, glass of orange juice.
See what we can come up with here, dear. Just a moment here, and first you enjoy your meals. And she just kind of struts off and goes back behind the bar. The other door closes gently as she goes through into the kitchen area. Some of the other gentlemen that are in the common room seem to have finished their meals and leaving their plates there as they get up and walk out. The gentleman who is at the bar looks like he is also leaving as well, kind of fixing his tunic. He's putting on his traveling cloak and looks like he's just buckling a little belt to kind of keep everything nice and neat as he starts making his way down this central staircase to the lower levels where the main entry and exit of the tree is located. As y'all waiting for the rest of the breakfast to arrive, hear a new set of footfalls come down one of the steps. It's quiet enough in here where they kind of echo a bit. Your ears just kind of pick up on them, and your heads gently turn to where they're coming from. You see this half-elf. You've seen him before. Dressed in very simple earthen tones, has decent kept chainmail. No sleeves on his vest. There just does have arm bracers, short, spiked, kind of blonde hair, bright blue eyes. And you've seen him the other day when he was giving out notices to the other petitioners for the Fearless Landers. And he looks over the common rooms here, and you see him just give out a long sigh, and he begins to make his way towards your table. As he stands by your table, Deirdre comes back and gives Mordecai his juice and his oats and the other bits of fruit that he requested, and she just kind of smiles. Oh, well, enjoy your food. And she looks up at the half-elf, and she just gives out a nice smile. Come for breakfast, dearie? No. Go away. I have matters to discuss with these folk. And he pulls up a chair, and he sits in the chair backwards, just where the back of the chair is facing the table. So, you four seem to be the last of the petitioners from the other day. Do you all still want to join the Fearless Landers?
Yep. All four of us. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, it would be an honor.
Yeah, that would be, good.
Make no mistake, what we do is not for honor. It is not for pride. It is not to get rich quick. What we do for all the land's denizens. We go where people are needed. We go to the places where men fear. We go where there is no hope. If this is something that you believe that you can do, then I have a task for you. Now, make no mistake, you are not a Fearless Lander yet. This will see if you have what it takes to do the things that are needed by all. And he pulls out a folded sheet of paper as he stands up and tosses it on the table. It's in this nice, crisp envelope, has a small little wax seal on it. Nothing really embroidered on it, just a flat closed wax that's closed the envelope. You can see it's been unbroken. When you're ready, look over your task. You'll see what needs to be done. And come back when it's done, and we'll see you entry into the Fearless Landers. If you cannot do this task, there's no dishonor in it, but do let us know that so we can send somebody else to help the people that need this help. Well, enjoy your breakfast. You'll be needing it. And he just stands up, slides the chair, just kind of drags over the wooden floor by the tables next to you. And almost with a pep in his step, a little bit of authority, he just kind of walks out of the second floor commons and strides up the stairwell in the Nymph's Rest. Before you is that single envelope.
So, should we open it?
Mordecai takes it, opens it.
Oh, hey, wait, I want to read it.
You are to travel to the Temple of Nepenia, a day's ride from the rural outskirts of Aurora. Northwest, along the Golden Roadway, priestess of Neptenia named Sati has reported that a relic of her temple has gone missing and has requested assistance with the matter. Help this Sati recover her temple's missing relic. Prove that you can do this, and you all will become initiates of the Fearless Lander.
This might be kind of hard for me. I lose things all the time.
I don't.
I mean, I know some I can give you some tips that can help you with that. You know, not losing things.
How?
Well, it really helps to have an organized system of multiple. It's useful if you have like a bag and it's got a bunch of different pockets that are all like organized, and each has a specific place for everything.
That sounds like work. I think I'll just use more straps.
Mordecai was nodding approvingly until Ares spoke up.
You see, if you tie it down more, it doesn't get loose.
I mean, you know, that works, I guess. You know, as long as you don't need to like take it anywhere.
All right, so our mission is to go get more straps and tie down this relic so they don't lose it again.
I mean, I think we need to find it first.
I am assuming that it was stolen.
It's probably that seems the most logical.
But thievery is illegal.
If no one did illegal things, then why would we have police? The military.
To stop people from doing illegal things, but people don't do illegal things because it's illegal.
I don't think that's how that.
Perfect logic.
I have a headache.
You probably should stop banging it against the table every time I talk. It makes listening hard and you get a headache.
Then shall we leave?
Aries just going to start scarfing down her food. Don't pig out on her pig.
Mordecai has an unusual way of eating, but it is slow. But at least his bowl of cinnamon oatmeal is small.
What makes his way of eating unusual?
He dips his spoon in, takes a bite, then casts prestidigitation to clean the spoon. And then he sticks the spoon in and takes a bite and casts prestidigitation, clean the spoon.
That seems kind of inefficient.
It is sanitary.
Okay.
Aries literally just bouncing more and more impatiently as you take each bite.
I think I'll
He
just eat my
finishes
biscuits
soon
on the
enough.
way.
Y'all eat breakfast. You have your task here. You know what is expected of you. They didn't give an exact timeline for this task. All that you can assume is that they would want it done as soon as possible.
I am always ready to leave.
I'm ready whenever the rest of you are.
I guess we should head out then. Guess.
I'm not ready. I'm Airy. Get it right.
Sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you.
I'm ready to go.
All right. So, let's see here. Now, you are traveling by foot down the Golden Roadway. The note gave you pretty clear directions where it was. Now, this particular temple, for those of you who are trained in, or proficient rather, with religion, can make a check to see if you have maybe heard of this particular Temple of Niptania before.
Cool. 22.
6.
Mordecai, you have heard of this temple. This temple is well outside of Aurora's outskirts, outside of its protection, past about a day's journey easily, past some of the farmsteads that dot the landscape outside of the capital. It's not so far remote that, it's impossible to get to, but it is in a spot where you would have to travel directly to it. You don't just wander upon it. The temple itself, from what you recall, was actually built at the base of a tree in the forest.
Okay.
And
I'm looking for another tree.
there's lots of trees on the landscape.
Ooh.
So, as you make your way down the Golden Roadway, you take one of the traveler's paths deeper into the forest. The trees begin to encroach throughout the path. The briars, the bushes become a little more dense, but the path, which has become just a simple dirt path with an occasional bit of stone here and there, while narrow, is still easily found. This time of year, the colors are still vibrant. The trees have new life. But as you get close to the area where the temple is at, I want you all to make perception checks.
11.
All of us make a perception.
Everybody.
Nat 20 for a 21.
Nat 1 for a 3.
So, through Aries' constant chatter, the noises that she's making, the conversations between her and Ryan, Mordecai and Aetherius, you both hear noises, unusual noises, sounds of something very forceful hitting stone. The sounds of somebody screaming from behind a boarded or a barricaded door. The little muffled screams. As you peer over one of the hills, you see what appears to be quite a few figures surrounding this temple. And they appear to be striking it, trying to force their entry into it.
Well, that doesn't look too good at all, does it?
No. That looks rather bad.
What? I'm trying to have a conversation here.
Aetherius is gonna put two hands on Aries' shoulders and point them towards this.
Hold steady.
Wow, they're really religious. I mean, they're just like banging to get in.
I don't think it's that way.
Okay. So, let us roll initiative.
Wow. That's a 20 initiative.
Mordecai just blowing through all his nat 20s today.
Yeah.
Well, it's a
Like
dirty 20.
It's fair. It's fair.
But yeah, I'm getting a lot of high rolls early. I don't like it.
You're just showing off, that's all. Nothing to be scared of. Okay. Well, Mordecai, since you have to roll every high roll in the game, you know there are single-digit numbers on those dice. Just throwing that out there.
Okay. Well, with my religion roll, do I know that Neptania doesn't like undead?
Yeah, I mean, what you know, in fact, well, you know the location of the temple. Just general knowledge, you know enough that she would not like those types of unnatural creations in the world. It's one of the things that she is quite against.
I can surmise that this is gonna be a fight. So
they're not undead. They have a skin condition.
I'll start off with mage armor.
All right.
And I guess that's it. I don't really have anything I can do with a bonus action.
All right. Well, then we'll move on to Eerie. See, Mordecai just throws hands down. You see the energies kind of coalesce around his body, almost forming like a protective suit of magical armor before it just fades away out of your sight.
Aries gonna draw her hand axe instead of her shield. And then charge into battle, assuming... Are you friendly?
So, the entity before you that you see pounding on this temple wall here, it looks like almost like a pickled cadaver. But what's odd about it is the amount of plant life that's intertwined with it. These large pulsating vines just seem to be all over this thing. Not so much that it covers the entire surface of its body, but you see like some of the vines burrow into the flesh. You see them kind of wiggling around. Some of the vines themselves you see that haven't quite burrowed in are pulsating and dripping with what looks like blood.
Right. Well, my mom did have a saying about Ari, stop trying to make friends with the undead. So I think I'm just going to stab them.
Also, Ari, you're unconscious.
This is all just a dream.
It's all a part of the plan.
Yeah.
Listen, this is our 200 IQ plan. This is the 5th step of it.
Got it.
Next, we need to put routers on top of all the walls.
Yeah.
It's the best way to put up a firewall.
Yeah.
Harry, wake up. There you
I'll go back to bed. There we go. I've got a hit.
go. Okay. All right, go ahead and roll your damage.
Yeah.
All right, so you see Ari just coming out, starts swinging for the fences on this thing after she tries to talk with it. Doesn't really engage with her, doesn't really react to her until she manages to actually hit the creature. When she does, there's a spray of blood on this thing. The creature itself doesn't cry out in pain, though when your axe kind of hits some of the vines and the flesh of this thing, a combination of bright red blood and black ichor-like fluids begin to kind of spray out upon you.
You.
But the creature just kind of staggers from the impact, bumps into the side of the temple, and then you see its head cock towards you. As it does so, you hear the bones start to kind of snap a little bit. You see some of the vines protruding through the throat as the head turns to look upon you.
Well, I'm going to attempt to slam my offhand hand axe into that throat.
All right, your axe manages to find a throat quite easily. Doesn't do as much damage as you'd like, but does slash into the throat. More blood and black ichor begin to flow upon the body. Now, this body is completely naked too, by the way.
It's fine. Aries not paying any attention to that.
Not at all. Not to
No.
the dwarven body, the naked dwarven body before her.
It's got tentacles. That's the main focus here.
Fair enough.
Oh.
That's another saying her mom used to tell her. Don't get in fights with tentacle monsters.
I
Or it'll be
just
a
want to
dishonor to
say,
your family.
Good advice.
I just want to say, if this was a porno, the tentacles would be the focus here as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, it's just interchangeable at this point.
Okay, just be glad it's not a Japanese anime or hentai or whatever. So, Aetherius.
Gonna cast Firebolt on the creature that Ari just attacked. So I think I do it like that.
And you did. All right. So, you throw out your hand, Firebolt flies out, strikes that creature.
Oh, wait, damage. Do I click the damage die?
Yeah, you're going to click the damage section of it and drag it either onto the creature there on the tracker or on the map.
Okay.
I think if you already have it targeted too, if you click the damage, it should auto-apply it.
Yeah, I think I also had the wrong one targeted.
Yeah, you had the one over by the far end, I think. I'm pretty sure. Targeted.
Oh. Well, now isn't this just a little bit awkward?
No, that's fine. I can manually adjust that and correct that. So just untarget that and target the correct one. Now, creature, after being hit with the bolt of fire, bits of the flame start crackling. Some of the vines begin to shrivel up a little bit upon it. You almost hear like a high pitch, almost like scream, just a little as the vines shrivel a bit. The figure does kind of twitch and jerk erratically as the fire kind of dies out. But you you both completely have its attention.
You know, I'm pretty sure plant creatures should not be making noises like that.
What noises should they make?
Hopefully none at all.
You also assume it's a plant creature, too.
It's got tentacles.
That means nothing.
So does Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Well, Cthulhu's a plant creature. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. He came from the
Kraken?
ocean.
Kraken's a plant creature.
Actually, no, see, he's a type of seaweed.
Ah.
Sure. Let's go with that.
And that's my turn.
All right. Well then. So, Ryan.
All right. Well, I'm going to cast Bless on everyone else. Now, how do I do that? This is the first time I've actually used spells in Fantasy Grounds.
Target all the players you want to hit,
All
and
right.
then
Okay.
And then when you go to your spells, you should have like a little magnifying
Oh, yeah,
glass
yeah,
or
there it is.
rope or lasso, and you'll hit the.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. I did that.
we now have Bless.
And it should auto roll
Ooh.
the concentration for that when you take damage. The one thing I do not have auto enabled is the death saves. I figured you all would want to manually trigger that yourselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then he's gonna move up here. Yeah, and that's gonna be my turn.
So I
Right,
see
so-
Operation Airy Shield is in effect. Very good.
Guys, where are you at? Why am I the only one out here? Oh, hey Ryan.
So this
hi.
shambling cadaver is going to start walking over as it sees all the flashes of light. The other creature here is been making all that wonderful noises. In fact, actually, you know what it's going to do? We're going to have it do this. Now, that should be... Yeah. All right, he is actually going to continue to attack the temple. Next one is a more skeletal cadaver. More bone than meat on this one. Tattered rags cover this creature's body, but you do see these little red pinpoints in the hollows of the skull socket as it is smashing at the door with looks like the hilt of a short sword. And with every bang, you can hear the very high-pitched screams of a female voice from beyond the wall. And the next one here. So this is the one that's been, let's see, which one? If y'all been targeting the wrong one again, I believe you have. Because it's the one that's right above Airy. So I'm just going to fix that, make sure he's got all that lovely damage. So this one is going to turn towards Airy, pivoting its body. Its arms kind of reach out as it clumsily tries to attack Ari. And it will make contact with Ari as its hands begin to grasp her arms. The hand axe starts tearing at her flesh. As it does so, dealing 5 damage to Ari. You feel that what you see, Ari, which is really interesting, is as it digs its fingers into you, see parts of the vines, like on the hands, and as your blood drips from your body, the vines seem to be soaking up the blood, almost drinking your vitae into them. Just absorb
It's
it.
exactly as Mom said would happen.
Your mother is a very intelligent woman, it seems.
She said the tentacles would drink my fluids.
Sure.
Your mom has oddly specific advice.
Does she read weird books alone in some rooms?
No, that's my sister.
Destiny, you cruel mistress.
Now this one is going to shamble on over and reach out towards Ryan. As it does so, it contacts Ryan. Again, clawing at Ryan's flesh. Concentration on the bless fails.
Well,
Again,
so much for that.
Ari, you notice that the one that's attacking Ryan, very similar.
Oh, that's
As
unfortunate.
the creature rips
Yeah.
open some of Ryan's exposed flesh. The vines, the tendrils seem to start soaking and drinking in Ryan's blood.
You.
And this other one is going to make an attack on Ryan as well.
That's unfortunate.
But Ryan is ready for this attack and manages to easily sway the clumsy limbs from grasping and ripping more flesh. With that, that ends the cadaver's turn. Mordecai, you just witnessed a lot of very strange things going on.
Yeah, so I'm gonna attack the closest one to me.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I didn't know Mordecai hated you that much.
Yeah.
No, I mean, which unidentified creature is this guy? The one to the left of Ryan.
Let me see here. That should be the last one on the list.
Okay, that's the one I'm.
Let's see if I can put some numbers by them here. There you go. That should help.
Actually, thank you for putting the numbers, but fuck it, I'll go after the one that's damaged, so we can try and get one off the field.
Okay.
I'm surprised that hit.
They are naked.
They're naked zombies. They're not very.
The 8 damage and their speed is reduced by 10.
You're just thankful that these dwarves with the vines have very long beards. All right. So after you smash with the ray of cold, blasting this one, you see parts of the vines, parts of the beard just start to crystallize a little bit from the cold. It staggers a bit, but the creature is still standing. Does Mordecai move? Does he do anything else?
Nope.
All right, Ari. It's about to be a tentacle party for you. What would you like to do?
Which one's banging on the door?
Well, the two that are focused on the temple are the skeletal cadaver and the rotting cadaver that's not really the non-dwarf.
Gotcha. So the dwarves are engaging us. Okay.
Yeah, they're also the ones
First-
with the vines coming out of them as well.
First thing I need to do is break combat. So I'm going to attack the unidentified.
Okay. All right. So this is one of the things that I did warn you guys about before. So he is with that hit. Short sword connects, cuts through the beard, cuts into the vines. The body begins to kind of fall, crumples down onto its knees. The vines seem to quickly withdraw into the cadaver itself, the pickled cadaver. But the cadaver itself just lies kind of motionless on the ground.
Okay, so I'm out of melee with something. So Aries gonna fastball special her hand axe.
Poor Ryan.
And yeah,
Target's
at the
unidentified
blue.
Goliath.
No, he's got a name. It's super long and complicated.
Oh my god.
I was about to say, oh, I missed. I'm gonna have to re-roll out the other target. But
No,
okay.
they're not that difficult to hit.
It's a hand axe.
And Aries gonna draw her next hand axe out. Actually, since Ryan's probably going to be taking care of himself since he's pretty bloodied right now. I'm going to keep going with it. I'm going to draw my second hand axe out.
All right, so
And
you
step up to
slash,
help.
You throw your hand axe into the one that's banging to the temple entry. Axe just kind of lands dead center into the back. You see the body just lurch forward with the movement, but it still just very clumsily pounds at the door. Just ramming both its fists into the door, just trying to break it in.
Actually, can I take back that move?
The physical movement? Yes.
Yeah. Because I'd rather move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. There we go. That'll better protect my friend. Because that's what Mordecai said, we're friends.
Yeah.
Cue the Saved by the Bell Friends Forever theme song. Alright. Well, with that, Therius. A lot of strange things are going on.
Yeah. Well, I know what I must do. I'm going to cast Ice Knife. I'm going to be casting at the
The very bottom unidentified creature 3.
yeah, you know, the one. No. You see that dwarf that allows me to hit multiple targets? I think that's 5 things. Yeah. But I'm gonna be swinging it at the blue vested undead.
Okay.
Nice. And he's going to take 1d10.
That was such an epic failure on his part. It was amazing.
Oh, did I not roll my damage properly? Oh. And they all have to make a dexterity save now.
Alright.
Yeah.
So identified 2. The skeletal one. Those are the other ones that are making it?
Yep.
Okay. So let's save here. So that one made... What's the DC? This one made a 16. And that's the one right below the blue-vested rotting cadaver.
Should be DC 13. What I'm seeing is right.
Yep.
Okay, and the skeletal one also made a 16. So they both made a DC 16.
Alright, so just the one takes the damage. Cool.
I think they take half damage from it, don't they?
I don't remember.
It should say.
Should say it on this. Yeah. Let's see. We should have a quick link on your. So the other thing that's really cool about this is we can pull up the spell descriptions really quickly.
Yeah.
Target each creature 5 feet of it must succeed on dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 cold. So no half.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
So you've already disappointed Ari in your first combat.
Good job. You did it.
Well, at least I maimed a singular enemy.
Well, no, actually, you did better than maiming.
Oh.
Because as an ice knife pierces its flesh and explodes out, creating multiple ice knives that just launch out around it. While it does not strike the other cadavers, the one behind the corner of the wall, or the other one that was closest to Harry and Ryan, the explosion was enough where it did drop. You see a lot of the rib cage, the side of it just kind of explode out from the knife just piercing into the sides of the temple and the area around it. So it's almost like this black mist just and the body just kind of teeters a bit, and without the muscular bits of the torso, just folds in on itself as it collapses to the ground.
Neat.
All right. What else does Therius do?
Don't think he's gonna do anything. Can cast a cantrip as a bonus action. So yeah, that's my turn.
All right, Ryan.
All right. Let's see. I think he's going to take his mace and he's gonna smash into the head of this one right in front of him. Just take the first one. I double-clicked it.
Okay.
So
Well,
the 13.
Oh, you were still targeting yourself for some reason. You missed yourself, thankfully.
Okay. Yeah. It's
that will hit, so just roll the damage.
yeah. All right.
Just be happy, or
Yeah,
hopefully.
just make sure you drag and drop the damage on him. You don't want to hit yourself.
Oh well.
You just smash it in your own face.
All right. Well, that's good.
Well, guys, we have the first unconscious of the.
Yeah, quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself. All right, let's see. What did Okay, that was
Need my patented
7,
pity hug.
And I'm just seeing the damage that Ryan had previous.
I had
Yeah.
7 wounds.
Yeah, he was at 4 HP.
Yeah.
All right, and let's get rid of that unconscious.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, do you remember how to target the monsters?
Yeah. I just.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we were using fancy crimes. We were using roll 20,
Yeah.
so
It's been a while.
it's all right.
Yeah.
It's like falling off a bike. It's easy,
Yeah.
easy to do.
Just hope you don't tumble down the hill.
Yeah. I think.
I think he more fell off a cliff on that one.
That is true.
I think that's gonna be his move. Yeah.
First swing of the campaign, knock yourself out.
Well, so let's see. You did 6 on him. Just make sure that applies here. So yeah, as you smash into him, you hear the bones start to snap underneath, but underneath the flesh, you do see the vines kind of wiggle and move around some of the broken arms. So they almost start to kind of like try to mend or reinforce it so the body can still kind of function as it goes. And you do see the vines start to pulsate even more after that brutal impact. But
Yeah. All right. Well.
let's see. He is going to see what's going on down there. And he is going to start paying attention to what's going on down there. And as he does so, see him pull out a bow. And he looks with the red flaming points in his eyes at this bright pink-haired young woman. It's almost as if the hair turns into a bullseye. And he notches an arrow, pulls back the bow, and fires. Ari, you feel something kind of just brush against your right arm, like the upper part of your arm where the arm meets the shoulder. And you see a little bit of a little abrasion there, where something very quick, very sharp just passed by your arm. Up ahead, you see an arrow hit a tree and just kind of shake from the impact. You see the skeletal cadaver behind you with the bow aimed at the back of your head.
Well, we can't be letting enemies have weapons. That's not nice. You need to take those away from them.
Gonna hurt. You gotta poke your eye. You gotta shoot your eye out, son. So, as you look over at that one, there's, let's see, which one is okay. So this is the one right above Ari and Ryan. He is going to Now, this is a tough one for him. Let's say odds and even, so he is going to focus on Ryan.
Boy.
He's going to make another attack on Ryan. And he is going to epically miss Ryan. Ryan is used to how this clumsy creature attacks. And easily parries the undead arm. This one here is going to also reach out at Ari. And while Ari's attention was diverted towards the skeletal creature, her peripheral vision picked up this undead arm coming in very quickly. And using her short sword, she bats it out the way, slashing at it, the vines recoiling from the broken limb that Ryan has thoroughly smashed up. And he actually will move here. Actually, you know what? He is going to move here. Ryan, would you like to use your reaction for an attack of opportunity?
I think I will, yes.
Body shambles.
Does a 6 hit?
A 6 will not hit this. So as it's shambling, it stumbles going down the hill, and then just as it stumbles, it ducks down low enough where your attack just goes whizzing right over its head.
Shame.
Mordecai.
Alright, let's continue sweeping this clean.
Okay.
Get rid of the one not below me.
What?
Ari wants you to attack the one below her.
That was my plan. I have it.
Oh!
Ooh,
Nat 20. Well, it'll automatically do the crit damage, right?
It should, yes.
Kind of a sad crit, but there it is.
That's alright.
It has its speed reduced by 10.
Well, it actually has its speed reduced by a lot more than that as it crumples down to the ground.
Ooh.
The vines shrivel back into the pickled cadaver.
Mordecai gives a salute to Eri as he gets ready for his next attack next round. In my turn.
Alright. Speaking of Eri.
Eri scampers forward and
Fra-la-la-la-la.
she's going to show what her favorite thing to do when demonstrating weapons. She's going to attempt to use a disarm attack. So it rolls athletics or acrobatics, and I roll an attack roll. And if I win, it drops to the floor. If it wins, it holds on to it.
Okay. It rolled a 19.
I can still beat it.
I like to get those out the way so you know what you're going against with that. It rolled really high, so...
I rolled a 12. I didn't beat it.
So you're struggling to rip the bow out of its hand. It's... While the fingers are skeletal, there's just little bits of tendon and sinew holding this thing together. They are a lot stronger than meets the eye. Apparently, dark energies strengthen this thing.
It's mine. Give it back. As a bonus action, I'm going to take my swing at it.
Okay. That is a very good swing.
Couldn't you have gone the other way?
All right. The hand axe comes out, slashing the skeletal cadaver. Bits of bone spray out from the impact. The skull is chipped, the jaw is cracked, but the red pinpoints in the eye socket still hold steadfast as it looks upon you.
Ari's trying her best to remove enough of the bony limbs so she can get that bow out.
All right. Well, she's working on it. It's not quite there yet, though. Therius.
all right. Well, you know what? It looks pretty injured. So he's gonna raise his staff and he's gonna cast Firebolt on it.
Bolt flies true, goes through the air, strikes the skeletal creature, and as it does so, Eri, you see this bright burst of flame strike the creature as it's staring down into you. The flame goes into the skull, the eye socket just ignite and fire. These plumes of flame just jet out from its mouth, from its eye sockets, its the nostrils, and after that quick burst of flame, you see the skull just kind of crack a little, and then explode. The headless skeletal cadaver falls to the ground, releasing its grip on the bow.
The hellfire, just like Sis said she'd do to me. The end of days has come.
The darkest timeline.
You have a very interesting family.
I think they're perfectly normal. Except for Big Sis, she's crazy. Really crazy. like him crazy. Mr. Tentacles here.
Okay.
Okay.
And with that, Aetherius is just gonna sit down.
There is still one still shambling about.
I can still cast magic while sitting.
Okay, just fair enough.
Huh?
Therius just takes a seat. Is that
Graceful.
end your turn?
Yep.
All right, Ryan.
All right. He is going to cast Sacred Flame on the last guy.
Fails his save.
All right. All right. I gotta damage for 5 damage.
All right. So, as you speak your holy words, begin to see light channel from Ryan into this creature, who is quickly engulfed in a very brief, almost pillar of silver flame. The vines begin to shrivel and very violently whip in the air as the flames burn, but when they start to die out, the vines just reattach themselves to the cadaver.
All right then. That. All right. That's gonna be his turn.
All right. Let's see. Odds, evens. All right. So he is going to lash out at Ari. Also, Ari swears a lot in Draconic as it hits her.
It's okay.
Oh!
It's not okay. Ari is dying.
Wow. It hit like maximum damage on that hit. So, yeah, Ares like starts shouting something in Draconic, and then the creature strikes her. The vines pierce into her flesh. You see them drinking her blood. The vines almost turning from green to a slight crimson as they start pulling in all her fluids. Her body drops. The vines recoil from her body as she hits the floor, and you see just copious amounts of blood just dripping from these vines as the creature just twitches its head and looks towards you, Ryan.
That's not good.
I guess her mother did have a point somewhere.
I see how the dragons are protecting her. Should have offered up something.
Mordecai.
Mordecai runs up into melee.
Okay.
And he reaches down and touches Aerie. I will not let you fall. And uses his Azamar ability, Healing Hands, and gives her a hit point.
Hey, 1 hit point's better than none.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
It brings you up so you don't have to start rolling death saves.
I will take it.
And that's my turn.
All right, yeah, you see Mordecai rush across the hill there, just kind of sliding past Ryan, using part of the wall to brace his momentum as he lays his hand immediately down, touching Aerie. You see the palm just glow a faint light, and once the light dissipates, Aerie, you feel a very sharp pain just all over, but the rest of you see her just take a breath like,
Ninefold Dragon, is that you?
Not quite.
so you're prone, Aerie.
Oh. Well, the first thing Aries is gonna do is take a bone. Get the minimum amount of healing.
Oh,
So
Well,
we don't know what god Ari has angered, but apparently it was a good one.
All of them. She angered all of them. She's
seems like
she's gonna spend half her movement to stand up.
Okay.
Drop both her weapons. Yank the great axe off her back. And yet again have that happy, cheery grin as she goes in for a swing.
All right, using the great axe, coming straight overhead down into this creature.
oh,
And going into the creature, through the creature, splitting it in two as the two halves of the body just kind of fall down. You see some of the vines and innards inside, just almost like they're entwined with some of the internal organs that are still rotting away inside. The body collapses onto the ground as you see the vines just kind of recoil within the cadaver.
See, that's the star do guarantee. Your tentacle monster's dead on the first strike, or you're. Well, we don't have any gold back, but
That's an oddly specific motto. There.
are you well,
what's the
Eri?
motto with you? Eh,
You're fine.
I think I'm gonna go gather up my weapons and take a short break. That was more exercise than I thought I'd get in a while.
can I study the corpses of the undead, try to discern why they were being animated by vines of all things?
Sure
Yeah, I'll
can.
knock on the door.
All right.
Well,
Mordecai just goes over to the main door and doo, doo, doo. As Ryan looks over, Ryan, make a religion check for me.
14.
So, as you start looking at this body, especially one that she just cleaved in half, Ari just cleaved in half, you notice something very worrisome. You cannot find a trace of the vines. As you move the body further out the way, you see very small, probably about the size of maybe no wider than like a quarterstaff in diameter, hole in the ground. A lot of this creature's fluid seemed to be just kind of pooling up in this hole that was recently made.
Well, that's not good. That seems almost as if they were.
And while you are looking at this, Mordecai banged on the door. You hear another startled, high-pitched scream. Ah! By the Tanya's light! Go away, you horrid abominations!
I am Sergeant Mordecai of the Holland military. We have dealt with the interlopers. Please open so we can see if we can help you further.
And you see like a little slot on the door that can be slid open at, your head height. That doesn't move. You hear another one open up much lower, about almost navel height. And you see these pair of little eyes just kind of peer through, and they kind of look up at you, and looks like they're trying to look around, and they see some of the bone fragments there. The cover slides closed, and you hear like 2 or 3 latches being undone, and this thick oaken door is being pulled open. Beyond the door, you see this little halfling woman. Her hair's kind of tied back in a small little ponytail. She wears a simple cleric's vestments. She has a small bow staff for her size. If she were a human, she would be probably about her late 20s, early 30s in appearance, just in the facial features. Not really any wrinkles, but not youthful. She's, been around here. She's traveled a lot. The interior of the temple, from what you can see here, though, just the main entry area, as the sunlight kind of pours in, all the windows have been closed and barred, but she does have little candles lit up here. There's a small altar to Neptania, and a few places where there's benches and little cushions where one can kind of kneel at and give reverence to Neptania. There's a few side chambers. You can't really see into them, but as she opens the door, you can smell the various incenses that have been burning inside. Well, if they're all taken care of, why don't you come on in? Thank you for dealing with them. They've been growing in numbers. Don't know how much longer the doors would have lasted. Please, come on in. And she just kind of looks out and she sees all the cadavers just kind of lying around the temple. Oh, it's going to take a while to clean up.
Mordecai pulls Eri next to him. He's like, "We have our wounded. If you help her, I will clean up the bodies."
I'm Eri. I'm not wounded.
She
Says
is
that
Eri.
if she's bleeding profusely.
She is also wounded.
Oh. Yes. I may be missing a lot of blood right now. And my weapons. Can you help me find them?
It's the axe sticking out of one of the cadavers near Mordecai. And
I will clean up, Eri. I will bring you your things. Go rest.
But what about Ryan? Ryan's hurt too. And I think Aetherius as well. On the inside.
It's about then when he pushes down on his staff and stands up, walking over.
Mordecai will he'll walk down here, and this is considered like loose earth, right? It's not like stone or anything.
no, this
Right.
is just like packed in dirt, not mud or anything. But you could dig into the soil if you wanted to.
I don't need to dig because I got one of the best spells.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Mold Earth.
It's a good spell.
If you target an area of loose earth, you can instantaneously excavate it, moving it along the ground and deposit it up to 5 feet away. This movement doesn't involve enough force to cause damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig like a 10-foot long hole. I'm going to pick up Ares' weapons and place them next to the door to the temple, and then I'm going to put the bodies, the corpses, bones, whatever, into the holes, and then mold earth the piles of dirt back into the holes.
Okay, so
Ryan will also assist with that.
okay, so for Ryan, the
Carry.
instructions were unclear. He helped you to bury Ares' weapons and bring all the bodies to the front door of the temple.
Oh, well.
No, you bury the bodies using the mold earth to create very quick graves. Still bits of blood there on the earth around the temple where some of the zombies were slashed open, where some of your compatriots were slashed open and tore apart. But outside of that, it's a lot cleaner and a lot less defiled outside than it once was. A little The little
I'll be-
halfling woman invites the wounded Arian Ryan in first.
Ryan ducks under the door as he goes in.
As he would definitely have to. Now this is
8
built for a
feet
medium-sized creature. So, but you still have to kind of squeeze in, considering how
Yeah.
massive your Goliath is.
I'm just only picturing him just kind of tucked away in the corner, just head hitting the ceiling.
Yeah. That's the general idea.
It's like shoulders are pressed against the ceiling, his head's kind of tilted to the side, you know. Tries to sit into one of the chairs. It looks like somebody trying to sit into a first grader's chair.
Yep.
He looks just a little bit dejected.
It's like Gandalf in the Hobbit house, you know.
Yeah.
Pretty much the vibe poor Ryan has right now. But with that, as you're invited in, and she begins to tend to your wounds as you clean up the outside, we're going to take our little break here. Just